cover's on, valve train's all in, heads are set, torqued down, set valve lash, and got the intake manifolds on. Got the new oil cooler pipe and the coolant bypass from SoCal on, so that way we don't overpressurize the block. I don't know if I've mentioned that in a previous video or not. Want to swap the O-rings and the copper washers over here on the gaskets or on the injectors. So we're going to replace all the copper O-rings and the O-rings on the body of the injector itself. And on the return side, all new, no leaks, no fuel leaks. Should be good to go for another season. And all the injectors tested good. CP3's got to go in. This thing's about ready to go in. So yeah. Okay, so on the copper washers, the safest way I've found to install the O-ring or the copper washer is, so usually they'll get stuck going on. So if you just take an 11 mil, 11 mil's always worked for me. And then you can just kind of tap, hold and tap until that's good and seated. See, it's not seated all the way. You want to make sure that's seated all the way. There, seated all the way. Works really good. So we got all the return harnesses on for the injectors. CP3 is in. This jumbled mess is just kind of, well, this is the wiring harness that runs up into the valley. This ties into the top engine harness, and then this is the return line. So we'll just have the feed line, which will come off the CP3 and go to the back of the rail here. That's Whirly's kit. And then feed line, obviously, also that'll go in there. So we'll just need to make a return, and then we're going to put the manifolds on, and that's going to be about as far as we can go before we put it in, so it's looking good. Okay, so the Dodge here through the DEF pump code and DEF heater code. So I talked to some people, and we're getting a emissions compliant tune put on it, and we're heading out to Dan's Diesel right now to get a bypass cable, because these, I guess these Cummins are weird. You know, you don't need that in the Duramax world. But anyway, we're gonna get the bypass cable, get the tune flash, so that way, I don't even know how the truck's still running, to be honest with you right now. And then we are going to, fuck, I forgot what I was gonna say. Oh, they're sending an exhaust as well, and we'll get the exhaust installed later in the week. Yeah, then it'll be 100% emissions compliant. Got the bypass kit installed. It's literally just, you take 2 pins out of the OBD2 port connector, and then you tap into the star connector, they call it. I'm not sure why they call it that, to be honest. It makes no sense to me. Anyway, pretty straightforward. So now we got the Easy Link in. Truck is off. Turn it to the run position, and we'll begin to flash. Okay, so I'm not really sure where we left off, but I did get the engine in. Engine mounts are in. My bridge is in. All my fuel lines are ran, so all I got to do is hook up my feed line. All my fuel is done. I got the turbo here. Turbo can go in. And then we just wait on the ECM harness. And when that gets here, the ECM harness will be 100% plug and play, just like a factory harness is. And they got to do some work to the ECM, flash their operating system, I assume. I don't know. They use CAN commands to delete the BCM and the TCM and isolate the ECM from the rest of them. So honestly, we are really, really close. Like, it seems like a lot looking at it, but when it comes to like time-wise on the swap, we are 85% done, maybe even 90% done. So while we wait on the harness, I will be beginning to do my seat mount. That's what we're going to be working on today. So obviously it's a mess in here. This thing's a working project, so I apologize. But so our factory mounts are here, 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 and here are 4 factory mounts. So we're going to make a bracket that sits there and then takes our seat and elevates it to the height, desired height, which I haven't really decided yet. We'll figure that out once we get there. Got the first side done. So pretty straightforward. Boom, boom. And then do the other side. Then we'll probably, debating on how I want to do this, if I want to just fully box this, you know, or if I want to just do like 2 stripes across. I'm not sure yet. I'm going to get the other side done and make that decision. And this is 1/4 inch. I'm using 1/4 inch. Do you need 1/4 inch? Probably not. But it's an extra couple pounds for my safety. So I'm going with 1/4. Seat mount isn't completely done. Yeah, I need a new cover. But that's the idea. I've been working on some of the engine stuff, just little stuff, not much. I'm waiting on help right now, and we're gonna get the trans into place, mounted, and hopefully bolts together, fingers crossed. It should work. There's no reason it wouldn't, but that's just my luck. So under here we got the turbo drains mounted. Whirly gave me the wrong pipe gaskets, and I got the wiring harness on. So the turbo's not all the way in, but it's close. Just need to do up pipe gaskets and the cover. And then all the upper harness wiring is done, and then we'll wait for the lower harness, which the only thing that's on the lower harness that DMAX swap is going to be messing with, as far as I can think, is the MAF sensor and coolant sensor, and that's it. Okay, so I haven't recorded at all, but we have a 48RE 100% bolted behind the LML. The rear cross member on an LML is 1 inch farther backwards than on the 01 to 10s. So I had to drill some holes in the adapter plate. I barely had enough on the adapter plate to where it actually worked. Then Harkin's up here, burning in seat mount and the ratchet shafter mount. Getting close on that. All right, we got a shop day going on here. Got the race truck back on the ground in there with the trans and seat and ratchet in it. Got the ladder set up, changing some light bulbs out. Dodge is on the jack stands. It's getting the old, the exhaust is around here somewhere, but doing the exhaust on that. But first, fixing some lighting. Oh yeah. All right, we're installing our buttons on the steering wheel. I used a drill press, drill a couple holes. Made them a little bigger than what I needed, which is fine. Also, thank you to Tommy for letting me borrow these until I get a set myself. These things are like $140, so it's just stupid stuff like that that just adds up fast on these builds. It adds up really fast. So any little bit of help I can get, we're taking it. Keep it pretty simple. Top button's gonna be a spool jet, and obviously the red button's gotta be our scramble jet. You know, we really need to go fast. Probably gonna be a 90 jet on that one, and like a 30, I think like a 30, 32 for a spool jet will probably be enough. That's something we're just gonna have to play with. Every truck's different. So we'll get that figured out. Yep, right out the turbo. Oh yeah. So we brought the exhaust up here for safekeeping, because you know, it'll go back on. Don't worry. Yeah, this will be emissions intact. Yeah. Dude, I'm almost there. Looks good. Yep. Give her a little. Oh yeah. Oh boy. Back at the shop. Today it is Friday it's Thursday. I don't even fucking know. Anyway, back at the shop. We are doing the SoCal coolant bypass. So essentially this is just a wastegate that when the block side of the water pump reaches 70 PSI, you know, see, because it'll come here and run around to this wastegate. When it reaches 70 PSI, the wastegate opens and it allows the excess pressure to go back into your radiator, so that way you don't break water pumps and you don't crack blocks. You don't crack blocks very often from it, but it has happened. I also got the transfer case in and stole a front drive shaft from a buddy out of a 01 to 10 truck. And The front U-joint is actually the same on LMLs, which I did not know, but was very handy. Because when I was looking at this, I realized I probably wasn't going to clear that adapter plate, and when I got the front drive shaft and got it in, I was correct. So if I turn this, you can hear it rubbing. You can see where it's rubbing on the drive shaft there. So that is not good. We're gonna have to grind down the adapter plate, but I should have enough material right in here to take off to where it shouldn't be an issue, because the bell housing bolt is here, which comes through to like here. So there should be plenty of clearance not to get into that bolt to where I have to worry. Been working for a bit, picked up some stainless sheets. This is gonna be to mount the coolant bypass, like what I was talking about before. And then the 3 nitrous solenoids are gonna go one here, and then they're gonna offset one lower and then one high again. So I have room to get my feed lines in. And that should work pretty clean. I have done a terrible job at recording lately. So we're gonna play a little catch up and show you some of the things that I've done and kind of the plans, and more so a timeline. It is May 1st today, and UCC is 30 days away, and this truck's not even close. So what do we need to finish? We need a cage put in. We're just gonna do just a 6-point roll bar with the door bars and the back bars. And then we need the ECM put on a standalone, gotta ship that out, probably gonna do that today. That is $2,600 for the standalone. Drive shafts, which we are just gonna go with the steel drive shaft, which I know a lot of people are probably gonna hate on that, but saves about $400 or $500. And honestly, the 10 pounds of rotating mass, I'd rather put the $500 into the innovative hub solutions. That drops, it's about $1,200, $1,300. So it's about $600 after the savings on the drive shaft. And that drops 70 pounds of rotating mass and allows me to run a 15-inch wheel, which is going to be huge because I have a feeling we're gonna be out of tire and I need to go to a smaller wheel size in order to put better slicks on this thing. That kit drops 70 pounds of rotating mass and I believe an additional 100 or 120, I think it's 120 pounds of unsprung weight, which is huge, especially for a crew cab truck that weighs over 6,000 pounds, probably right at 6,000 pounds. Weight is the big thing that is going to slow this truck down. We can make 1,400 horsepower, and I'm comfortable pushing 1,400 horsepower on my engine, and we will have everything to do that and then more. 1,400 probably won't get us into the 5s in the 8th. It's probably gonna get us to like 6.0, 6.1, somewhere right in there. Which honestly, 590 is not the goal. The goal is just to enjoy this truck, have fun, go race, go to events. But obviously, that 5-second mark is something that a lot of people shoot for, and is something that I would like to shoot for as well. We are also waiting on the pedestal, which RJ should have shipped out earlier this week. It should be here soon. And then inside the cab here, we are making another wiring harness. As you can see, it's kind of a mess. It's always a mess in here. Anyway, we are going to be a little bit ghetto on the nitrous at UCC. We will not have time to get a maximizer in. And honestly, obviously funds are always a limiting factor on builds like these. So the plan is to have a 90 jet on the button there. Lockup will be here, and then overdrive will be here. We will also have on the steering wheel a spool jet on the green button and probably like a 70 jet on the red button. Now, realistically, that's enough nitrous with the fuel we have to push well past 1,600. Probably closer to 1,700, I would think, but obviously that's all hypothetical. You know, it doesn't mean a damn thing until you go on the dyno, make your number, or make a pass using that much nitrous and have track times versus weight to back it up. In the meantime, we do have a couple trucks in here. This one is getting some emissions on tuning with an exhaust, emissions on. After that one, we have an L5, at least one more L5P, probably 2 more L5Ps to do. And these are gonna be big funding points to get to UCC and have everything I need and want in order to go down there and possibly be competitive with the guys like Greg A. I also know that Chance is bringing an 1,800 horsepower truck, and then Hunter Coffey's gonna have his 2,200 horsepower single cab there. That truck should be right at 7,000 pounds, so we should have a good weight advantage on him because he is a full weight single cab. But Greg's 2,400 horse. He's right at 6,000 pounds, which is the lightest you can be in the class. There's a very slim chance we're even going to lean on it against him if we do race him, because there's no point, even if I make a perfect pass at 1800 horse, and which is stupid of me to even try, and I don't even think I can make that much power, but he's still going to beat us. So I think it's better to just make a solid A to B pass, maybe run a spool jet and maybe grab like the 70 jet, which should put us around 1400, maybe make like a 590 pass on the nose, 60 pass, and hopefully he spins. Hopefully he sleeps on the light. You know, you never know. It's racing, and it's no time, you know, green light, instant green light, winners, light only. Now, I know I rambled a lot here, but honestly, we're just trying to get it together, go down there. We're not expecting to win. We're not expecting to, you know, be the best of the best down there. But we want to go down, maybe be a little bit competitive, and honestly just have fun. We're going to have an absolute blast down there, no matter what happens. You know, the night scene after the event's always a blast. Hopefully take the truck out, have some fun. And then we honestly, we might put it in ET, might not. I don't know. Okay, so we are back at the shop today. It is May 2nd, and we are going to work on swapping the exhaust on the truck that is in my shop for a friend of mine and flash tune for him, emissions compliant. We are here and had a whole box of goodies come in and some other stuff that got shipped out today. So for starters, we got a dash 10 weld-on mild steel bung to go into my upper radiator line to route the coolant bypass, or the wastegate, coolant wastegate. We got the shift lever for the 48RE to attach the shifter cable. And we got 1/8 inch NPT weld-in bungs and straight nozzles. I'm starting to think maybe I should have went with the 90-degree nozzle, or 180, whatever they call it. But they're 1/8 inch NPT, so these will flow up to a 136 jet. And my solenoids are good up to a 125 jet. So we are good for a 125 jet on these. It is currently 4:10, just finished my day job, and we are here at the shop now. Drove 30 minutes up here to, you know, make some side cash and keep picking away at the truck. You know, it's grind season. There's 1 month till UCC, and there's a lot to be done and a lot of money to be made, so we're gonna get back at it. We did ship out the ECM to DMAX swap. I've been talking back and forth with them. There's a lot to go over, a lot of little stuff. They tune on my new ECM, and then they'll send it back to me. I install the ECM, the wiring harness, and then we'll do first startup on DMAX swap's tune, and then we can load BC's file. And honestly, by the time that's here, I'm probably gonna have drive shafts, possibly the cage here. So hopefully we'll be able to test it, take it out on the street, you know, go through all the gears, make sure nothing's leaking, you know, just a once over. And then I'd like to take it out on some back roads and make some pulls just to get used to the shifter. I also need to practice spooling with the spool jet because that is also new to me. Then once I'm comfortable going through the gears and using the spool jet, we're gonna go to Great Lakes and hopefully get some testing in. And if this truck runs right, I know it's gonna break the LML record, I really do. It's making plenty of power, it's plenty light. It's just getting the thing to shift correctly and fuel correctly, being that it's an LML. And we've been fighting this for 2 years, and this should be the solution, the ultimate solution, besides going to a Motec. If this doesn't work, then honestly, this build's gonna be out the door, because we will probably be going to an LBZ set of heads and ECM. But DMAX swap really says it's not gonna do the defuel anymore. And obviously with the 48RE, as long as it's fueling, it's gonna shift. It's a full manual valve body, it has to shift when I say it shift. So it should work. Hopes are really, really high. So those are the big things to look forward to in the next couple of episodes. So thank you for watching, and look forward to the next video, because it's gonna be this thing coming all together and driving. So I really think this is gonna be the end of the video. I talked a little more than what I showed what I was doing, and that's just because I'm kind of not hurrying, but I do need to keep a good pace here, and stopping to film does take time.